So I like to use this, and it's like we hear the Tibetans talk about we have to purify the mind and we have to create merit. And of course, because these are concepts that we don't use in our daily life, we mystify them as religion, so we don't hear them properly. So I like to first of all use a bit of an analogy and then explain. So the job of being a Buddhist, the actual job, the central job of being a Buddhist is changing your mind from delusions to virtue, eliminating the delusions and filling the mind with virtue in general. You understand so far? Nod. Yeah, good. Okay. I forget what your name is. What's your name, darling?
My name is Cheryl, but they call me Swirl. We've met before in...
Oh, hi, darling. Good. Okay, Swirl.
For a long time ago.
Good. So far, we understand that, we have to purify the mind and create merit. Well, really, for me, and the reason we do that is so that we can do the real job of getting rid of delusions and grow the virtues until we're perfected as a Buddha. So for me, a really simple analogy, is this. Okay, no, sorry. So then we can also, yes, the analogy. You've maybe heard me say this, some of you people, that it's like if I see basketball, and what I see is without knowing anything about basketball, the point of basketball, the bottom line is the biggest number of balls in the hoop. We can see that. So the purpose of basketball, the purpose of all the bouncing and the running and the jogging and all the stuff they do, the point is to get the ball in the hoop. That's the essence of the job of basketball. So it's like I go to Michael Jordan, and let's just say Michael Jordan, and I say, hey man, show me how to get the ball in the hoop. That looks fantastic. And he will tell me. He'll go back, he'll say, okay, I want you to study for 10 years, to go get fit, to lose many pounds, to do this, to do special kind of training, weight training, this training, that training, blah, blah, blah. Go to the university, learn all basketball philosophy, learn how to jog and eat certain food. And I'll go, hey man, you didn't hear what I said. How do I get the ball in the hoop? And he will repeat his answer. Won't he, Squirrel? Why? Because the body and the mind are completely unprepared to not even forget getting the ball in the hoop. I can't even run. So we've got to do masses and masses and masses of preliminary work. Would you agree? Then easy peasy, balls in the hoop every second. So the same here. Getting the ball in the hoop as being a Buddhist is changing your mind. Every second you go from anger to love, you cease the anger, you grow the love. That's being a Buddhist. So Buddha says, oh, tell me how to get enlightened. And the Tibetan Lamas will tell you, I want you to do 5 years of preliminary practices. Go and do your 100,000 water bowls. Go and do your 100,000 prostrations. Go and do your 100,000 guru yoga. Go and do this, do that, do something else. And you'll say, no, Lama, you didn't hear me. How do I change my mind? And he will repeat the answer, because they are the work, because our minds right now are so deluded, so stubborn, so caught up in old habits, that to change the mind is the most stupendous job of all. Forget about changing the mind at the subtle level of realizing emptiness. This is just so high. That's the real ball in the hoop. So we've got years and years of work and hard work and practices and things to purify the mind, to pull out all the weeds that are choking our wisdom, and to grow the flowers that can nourish the wisdom. Then easy peasy, realize emptiness, see the delusions. So that's how they all fit. But because we leap into the Tibetan tradition, and they use the term preliminary practices, but they don't explain it. So clearly that's their worldview. They got a bit of a context. We've got to learn freshly what the hell are they talking about. That's why that lovely story I think about Atisha. Who was it? I don't remember, John Top or somebody. And somebody said, oh, I've just done my prostrations. He said, oh, fantastic, but I'd like you to practice Dharma. Oh, all right then. So I've just done all my water bowls. I'm very happy, but I'd like you to practice Dharma. So practicing Dharma, quote unquote, is working on your mind, changing your delusions, following your delusions and following virtue. That's the tough job. That's the hardest job. And that's the real job. But all the rest of it supports that ability to do it. And that's why all this other stuff, and why we purify the mind and do all these practices, do Vajrasattva, do prostrations, and why we do all the meritorious practices. This is how they talk about them. And so that's why they're not the essence of practice. Doing your mantras is not the real practice. Doing your prostrations is not the real practice. Wearing robes and having vows is not the real practice. But these are all amazing tools that have been found by the yogis, that they enable us to do the actual getting the ball in the hoop, changing the mind.